Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow interviews right here on WXOU Sports. I'm Giovanni Moceri, your sports media director at WXOU and our host of the show today. And hosting and having us today is the one and only Oakland University dance team. And I've been told to say specifically not the cheer team. We could get into that a little bit. But we are joined here today by Melayna. We are joined here by Alexandria and Kayleigh. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And some of the interviews that I've done have explored sports that I'm not very familiar with, and I would imagine my audience not so much too. We've done women's lacrosse, we've done men's volleyball, some of the club teams, not so much familiar, but I think this is the farthest from shore that I've swam to, going to, now dance. I know nothing about this sport, so you guys are going to have to help me learn it a little bit, teach me and the audience a little bit about what you guys do. Because we see you in the arena, but we want to get a little bit of behind the scenes a little bit. So we appreciate you having you back.
Of course. We have lots of dance knowledge. We're doing it since we were like, 2?
Yeah.
So I wanted to start right where we started. Not the cheer team. It's not the same thing. I need you guys to teach me a little bit of the difference here. Why is that a bad thing to say the cheer team as opposed to the dance team?
Well, being a cheerleader is more like stunting and doing all that kind of stuff. We still do like the game day experience, like we kind of double up as it, but none of us are cheerleaders. We're all dancers. Like a few of us have cheer experience, but it's just a very different world. Like competition-wise, we turn and we do very different things than cheer teams ever would.
So it's a little bit less of the aerial acrobatics and such like that. Okay, because someone almost warned me before this interview, like, don't say cheer team. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
So okay, glad we at least got that clarification. So now to kind of go across the room here, I like to get everyone's sports background when they come onto the show here. Where'd they get started? How they end up to the sport, especially their sport at Oakland University. So we'll start with Melayna here. Where'd you get started? How'd you get into dance, and how'd you end up here at Oakland?
So I started when I was like 2, maybe 3 years old. I'm not really sure. I did recreational dance, which is just little kids and stuff at Dancer's Edge when I was until probably like maybe 12 years old. Then I started to get into competition and eventually did it's called an all-star team, and we traveled to nationals in Orlando, Florida then too. And then I did it for my high school for 2 years, and then I decided to join Oakland after I knew I was coming here, just to give me something to do, meet new friends, and I've been really liking it so far.
And Alexandria, how about you? How'd you get started?
I started dancing a little bit later on. I didn't start dancing until I was 7, and I did rec for a year as well, and then I started doing company, which then turned into All Stars. So I've traveled, I've done worlds, the dance worlds, which is really exciting. I've won there.
So are those different clubs or organizations, or when you say worlds, is that more of a tier competition?
I competed with Dancer's Edge, so same place as Melayna. We grew up together.
Oh, okay.
And it's just a world level. You compete against everyone in the world, basically. So that's
no pressure, right?
Yeah, it was really fun and cool. And then in high school, I went to Eisenhower, and I did dance team where I danced with Kayleigh, actually. So we're all connected, but I did that. I was on varsity for 3 years, and then when it came to college and I decided to come to Oakland, it was without a doubt that I was going to do the dance team because it's just my life at this point.
Right, you've done it for so long, it's almost easier to continue as opposed to stopping at a certain point, right?
Yeah, but I grew up around this town, so I was excited to do it, and I grew up watching them at games and everything.
Oh, so you've been to the arena even before coming to Oakland?
Yeah, I always have.
Yeah. Hey, Kayleigh, how about you? Eisenhower seems to be a part of the story here. Someone spoiled it already, but that's okay.
I also started when I was little doing rec, and then I took a few years off because I actually used to hate dance when I was little, going to dance.
Uh-oh.
Then I started it up again probably when I was 8 and did rec for a while, and then I started company probably when I was 10 or 12, something like that, and I did company at my studio, which is company is the competition team.
Sure.
Till I was a senior, and we also went to different nationals. We never went to worlds. We didn't have an all-star team. We just did normal competitions, but we would travel different places for nationals. We went to Nashville one year and Traverse City, stuff like that. So it's kind of different every year for us. And then going into, I knew I was going to Oakland, and I never, like, I wouldn't say I never considered the dance team, but I used to watch the older girls in my studio. They went to Oakland, they're on the dance team, and I thought it was so cool. And I decided just one day, I was like, why not? Because, like, couldn't imagine myself not dancing in college. So, I actually went to the tryout my freshman year, and I was so nervous that I was trying to convince my mom to let me go home because I was so anxious. She was like, no, you have to stick it out, And then I made the team, and I was like, oh, thank God, because now I'm 5 years in, like, but yeah, and then also I did do Eisenhower. That's how I met Alex. She's, like, been, like, my little sister ever since
Freshman,
then. Yeah,
senior duo.
Senior duo, yeah. So we go way back, but I'm just glad that I still tried out, even though I was so anxious, because I can't imagine what I've been doing with my life for the past 5 years if I wasn't dancing.
Yeah, I'd imagine. So, it's something else I want to know about the sport here. I mean, like, I'm trying to figure out a little bit more. You guys mentioned competitions and stuff, and I obviously I can understand the fact that it being a competition, but another aspect of it is the fact that you more often than not you have to try out for the team, and there's cuts made and stuff like that. I was a swimmer in high school for Dakota High School, which, I mean, we beat the crap out of Eisenhower, just saying, but it was never a, like, make the cut for the team. They would accept all. So kind of walk me through kind of that kind of the tryout process. I'd imagine it's very, a lot of pressure, and it's very, anxiety induced. Help me out. What's it like going through a tryout process like that?
Mel, if you want to start, because you're the freshman.
So this was my first year trying out, so it was obviously very nerve-wracking because it's a whole different crowd of people. Like, I only pretty much knew Alex. Like, I didn't really know anyone else. So it's like a 3-day process, and the 2 days, I think, is when, like, you do, like, you learn the dances, do, like, a bunch of technique, like, across the floor, and the coach kind of, like, evaluates you. And then the last day, you, like, get an email the night before, and that's like, oh, you can come back for the final day of tryouts. And then, like, the final day is when you would find out if you actually made the team. So
you're just kind of, like, waiting for that email to come up. I can imagine that's a lot of fun waiting for it.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was very, I was very nervous, to say the least, but yeah, it ended up being okay, and I'm here now.
We have a tryout clinic too, where
I
went to, so I remember from that. And
it's like a clinic. You kind of, like, learn about the team, learn about, like, the dynamic with, like, the girls and stuff, and honestly, like, it was so, like, I felt so comfortable. Like, I didn't know anyone, obviously, besides Alex, but I was, like, so comfortable. Like, the girls just were so nice, and, like, that's when I knew, like, oh, yeah, like, I'm definitely going to try out. So, yeah.
So the camp is more like a, not heads up, but more of a head start when it comes to trying out for the team?
Yeah.
Like a practice tryout, basically.
Yeah.
It, like, makes you known to, like, coaches and, like, the team, just, like, who you are. Like, obviously, if you're good, like, my coach is going to be like, hey, like, are you coming to Oakland? Like, what's your future plans? Like, because we want good people on the team. So it's just good to be, like, known and go to, like, multiple clinics and everything.
Yeah, just to be a familiar face, obviously, will give you a bit of a step up there. Do any of the girls make the team without going to that clinic? Like, has it become more of, like, a unrequired requirement?
Yeah, I never went to any of the clinics because, I don't know, I just didn't hear about them until I was here. But you don't have to go to the clinics, but it's definitely, like, a good idea, and it's, like, better to know, like, the environment of our team and our team culture and learn all of that. But the tryout is more, like, important, obviously. That's, like, the actual end of it. So yeah.
And with that, when you're going through the tryout process, I mean, like, naturally, I mean, there will be some left behind. And I imagine, like, does that ever kind of become, like, a sticky situation? Like, maybe, like, you and a friend are trying out and one doesn't make it. Like, has there ever been kind of, like, a situation like that? 'Cause I can imagine that being, like, very troublesome to deal with.
I don't think it's ever happened.
I've never had it happen to any of us, really. Like, I think everyone who's brought someone in, basically their friend made the team. Not just because of that, but, like, I know you get to know the girls at tryouts. You talk to all the girls. It doesn't matter, like, who they are, if you know them or not. So, I mean, it is kind of sad if you, like, feel like you start a bond with someone and then they don't make the team. But, like, we basically go in and get told that day.
We
So
go
you're,
like individually, kind of.
Yeah, like in
Small
pairs.
groups, yeah.
So then like you go and talk to the judges, whatever, and then you either get a note or not, and then you're just sitting out in the hallway waiting for like your friends to come out. So it's really cool to see that like the girls that you did talk to like come out and then they're your teammates, and it starts right there.
Yeah, but even like kind of like before coming to Oakland, like early in your career, I mean, like that's got to happen at some point. I'm trying to like get a feel for like the nature of that kind of the sports culture in that way. That's got to be sticky, right?
Yeah,
definitely. Ike, there's a lot of that. Like,
yeah,
you and your friends would try out. One would make varsity, one would make JV, one wouldn't make it. One would, like it just
right.
Ike was very like cutthroat, and so it was like that. It's almost way different from Oakland. Not that Oakland just like takes anybody, but Ike, it was like a college level, like Big Ten level, I'd say, team.
Yeah, especially just like I know how big the school is, like the pool of candidates. I'm sure just kind of makes it that way.
It's a big like dance area around here for sure.
Yeah, and in years past we've done like game day girls, so you don't need all of the like tricks and skills. Like you can just do game day only.
Okay.
So if like you're not gonna make the competition team, you don't have to do all of that. Like you can just stick to like doing the fun game day stuff and everything like that. So we take like a few more people just for game days only.
Okay.
Which is cool.
And that's a part I actually wasn't aware of, that there's I was just recently learning that there's like a seniority thing when it comes to going to certain events, but I didn't realize that there was a separate, or not completely separate, but like game day versus competition. Yes. Where's the line there? Kind of, does everyone take shifts for game day in that sense? Or walk me through that. How does that work?
So for the men's game days, we do every men's basketball game and full team, and then women's is half team, and it's all divided up equally. That's like my biggest question people ask me is like, who decides who goes to women's games? Yeah. It's an even split. We all do the same amount, but when it comes to like bigger games like Indy and March Madness, that's like a seniority thing, so it's mostly senior, juniors, and this year we had like a light upper class, so sophomores got to go, so I was able to go as well. Yeah,
and imagine like that's something you dream of doing, even though in a way you don't have the most control over it, but it's just kind of a matter of hoping it happens. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So for you guys on game days, how much impact do you guys think that you have on the game? It's obvious, like it's you guys in tandem with the pep band and even the voice of Mr. Kevin Beers. Like, how much impact do you guys feel that you as the team and even the crowd at the arena, how big of an impact on the game do you think you guys have?
I think that us and the band together, like I almost combined the two, because without either one, I don't think it would be loud for sure. And the student section's great, but sometimes, like, you turn around, they're all sitting down, and you're like, come on, like, get up. Like, I feel like that definitely helps. Like, when we're loud, band's loud, and the student section gets loud, like, you see, like, suddenly points are going in. So I feel like that definitely helps, and I feel like at least March Madness, like, it's hard to get a lot of people down there, so it was cool that us and the band were down there, plus we had a big student section, like more parents and like family section, but they were so loud and supportive, and I feel like every time we'd like get up, like immediately they're up, they're yelling. Like I feel like that's really important. And then game days are a little different. I feel like it's kind of hard to get the crowd to stand up, but
I've done my best to get them up.
I know you try. Yeah. You're part of the band and dance too. You're part of that combination, but yeah, I think it definitely helps on game days, and I think next year's energy is going to be way different. I know that's going to be like, I'm so jealous that you guys get to experience next year's game days. Like, they have a huge fan base now. Like, it's going to be cool.
From across the nation.
Yeah, literally.
They might be upset that Jack and Trey and all the seniors might not be there, but that's Oakland basketball. You got to be a fan of the team.
Exactly. You got to stick with them from the start.
So on game, so I only see you guys behind the net on game day. I don't know anything about what goes on in preparation for it or even behind the scenes and stuff. So that's something I kind of want to explore here. What do you guys do as far as like training goes and practices, like how do you guys prepare for game days and for competitions as well?
So in the summer we do DTU camp, and we basically learn a handful of routines. How many is it? Like We each learned 2.
Like 6 routines.
We split up into groups and
DTU. What does that stand for?
Dance Team Union.
Dance Team Union. All right.
So it's just that's our nationals that we're going to.
Oh,
they have multiple things throughout the year, but we do their camp in their summer, and that's where we learn most of our game day routines, and then we come in all fall and we just teach it to each other. So then we all learn every routine. And we clean the dances, make it our own, make formations and everything. And, and then sidelines in the summer, we all learn that. And it's you have to come in the next practice knowing it. It's kind of a big deal. You have to know your sidelines or else...
People are going to find out you
don't.
And then the fight song, too.
Oh, the fight song's the first thing you learn. We learn that
right
at
after
tryouts.
You make the team.
So it's very known from the beginning. It's muscle memory. A lot of people ask oh, how do you remember everything? All of those dances, all those sidelines.
I can't keep up with it on game day. I tried to, but I can't keep up.
It's just muscle memory. We learn it in the summer right when you make the team, and you just kind of keep doing it. That I can be thinking about literally anything, and my body's still gonna do the sideline.
Sometimes I'm out there and don't even know what I'm doing, but my body's doing the sideline.
Yeah.
You're on another planet.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm about the score, and I'm just doing the sideline the whole time.
We do a lot of game day practices. We just fully focus on game days, and I feel they're constantly incorporating new things throughout the game. So they will come and tell my coach, and then my coach tells us, oh, we're gonna do this during this timeout, and you know what I'm trying to say.
So some of it's on the fly during game day.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that ever gone array? Is that gone oh crap, we don't know what we're doing because we just learned it? Or?
Yeah,
it happens.
The go black, go gold.
It was not a fan favorite.
The fans sometimes the fans don't join in, and that's not anyone's fault other than it's just a miscommunication. It doesn't go the way that it was planned.
Timing sometimes hard to do it, and it just...
Yeah, some things work out, some don't. We just added the flight thing. I don't know. How do you even explain that?
It's the one with the flashlight.
Yeah, that one.
Awesome.
That was a new ad to the end of the season. CJ made that video, and we just kind of joined in. But we did try the go black, go gold chant at a few games, and it just didn't take off.
So does that idea get scrapped then if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
It's got to catch quick.
And they were hey, let's never do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, it's probably my fault too. I got to get the people involved. In it I got to be a bridge. I'm a senior. I got to be the bridge from the band, from the dance team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're the bridge.
And I'm hoping there's gonna be more bridges built for this next season because I'm gonna be out of town.
Full section.
Yeah. So, and that kind of brings up another thing here because before this season, and to be completely honest, before let's say the last couple games of the regular season. The crowd was still kind of struggling to wake up. It was a little sluggish coming out of the gates. So when you guys are at the games, not seeing the crowd kind of wake up in that way, is it tough to kind of keep the same energy, to kind of keep the same, big smiles and big movement like that? I'd imagine it makes it a little tougher, right?
Yeah, it's definitely hard when the crowd isn't interacting because it's just kind of they're just staring at me jumping up and down. Yeah. One thing that I've noticed gets them up off their feet is t-shirts. If we're throwing anything, they're gonna get up and stand up to get one. But it definitely is awkward. A lot of people say, we're the ones that need to... I mean, it's true. We are the ones that have to, get the crowd hype.
Yeah.
But it's also awkward for us.
There's only so much you
everyone's
pulling people off.
Yeah.
I've tried that before. That doesn't work.
Yeah, they're I just want to sit down. I'm why did you come to the game?
I had one friend, it was last year, he came to a game, him and 5 other friends he brought with, in the front row, on my half of the section, I felt responsible for it, on their laptop, doing homework during the game. I was so
I see that a lot.
I was so furious.
The grind, but
maybe get it done first.
His attitude, that was not a grinding attitude. That guy. He was not having fun with the game. It drove me crazy.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, even if the crowd isn't getting hyped, I feel we still keep the same energy, even though it is awkward when we're facing them. But towards the basketball team playing, we all have friends on the team. We all want the team to go far and do good. So the louder we are, I feel like the better it is, and I feel like it's easy for us to cheer on the men's and women's team just because, especially women's, we have a lot of friends on the team. Like, it's so cool. Like, I didn't start being friends with the girls on the women's team until, like, probably junior, senior year. So going from doing a game without being friends with them to being friends with them, it's like a whole different thing. Like, you're so much more excited, you're so much more into the game. Like, it's way more fun to watch.
Yeah. You got skin in the game.
Exactly. I'm like cheering on my friends, like screaming their names, like I'm their coaches out there.
So, and then, yeah, especially with women's games, like, listen, we're honest here on the GioMoShow. The arena's not as filled as it is for the men's games.
No, yeah.
And, you know, if I'm at a game, I hear my voice come back to me from the other wall.
Yeah.
That I'd imagine that's got to be tough, too, to push through that and even hear your own cheers come back in an echo.
Yeah,
Right.
you go to throw a shirt and like nobody wants it.
The whole
I'm like, how do you
arena
not want a
already
free
has
shirt?
one.
Somebody to take a t-shirt at that point.
There was one game that they just kept making all their threes, and like everyone in the arena had a shirt already. I was like, who else needs one?
I think I was missing a shirt that day, but okay.
Yeah. We'll start throwing it to the student section after that.
Yeah.
So is that a not conscious, I should say, but the decided thing to not go so much into the student section, but more the general admission crowd? Because I'm curious because like I see you guys like, you know, dealing, you know, who to get the shirt to.
Yeah.
How do you guys go about deciding that?
Well, we're not really supposed to throw to student athletes just because, you know, they have a lot of
They get a lot of gear already.
Yeah.
And then I think we do put the general admission crowd first just because they are paying to be there. Personally, I always throw to the student section because I don't want to run around the whole arena, but
Yeah, because you'll be on the other side and then like they're calling out a sideline. I'm like,
it's a little stressful, but we definitely get a lot of shirts out to the student section. If there's like all of us throwing, like we definitely, I'd say it's fair split every way. Like we do, student athletes still get shirts. Like a lot of us as friends, and we'll just like.
Yeah.
Oops, I missed.
Oh no, yeah.
I missed the second grader behind you. My bad. So then, with that, you guys seem to be, and you guys mentioned you're friends with those on the team, and I know that you guys all travel on the buses together, and I know so it's kind of like one big melting pot in that way. Kind of talk to me about the relationships that you guys have, not only with the players, but up with the band as well, because you guys travel, you guys are one team in that way.
Yeah. Well, we don't travel with the like men's and women's team on the bus.
Oh, okay.
We do travel with the band.
With the
They
band,
usually go earlier, yeah. And, you know, we have a great relationship with the band. I remember especially when we won that first round in March Madness, like getting on the bus, and we're all like, let's go. Like, we're all excited, and they're like chanting, dance team, dance team. They're chanting, band.
Yeah, they really always cheer for us when we walk up like the stairs.
I know, we like go up to greet, and they're like clapping, and I'm like, guys, please. You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
They're insane.
Yeah. No,
that band's insane.
I don't think the game days, even on spring break, when I don't think all of them were there. It was like way more quiet. I'm like, what's going on with the band? Like, they have like some strong voices on that team, and I think they really carry game day. Like, I have a lot of respect for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they have enough voice left to actually play the instruments.
I know, I'd be winded.
I can't imagine playing an instrument.
It's a solid scream like throughout the entire opposing like starting lineup. I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah. When we went to Indy in March Madness, we were all like, our voices were gone and the band was fine. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, like my voice was gone at halftime and they're still going the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, I can't believe it. I'm jealous of it because I'll scream at a game and then I'm out of the job like for the next week.
No, exactly.
It's not good for business. I don't know how you do it.
It was hard going into Saturday's game in March Madness because I'm like trying to scream and it kept cracking.
Yeah.
And I felt like
we're right by the bench.
So weird. We're right by the bench and I'm like, like it sounded so bad, but I was like, I'm still gonna scream either way. I need something to come out right now. Like, yeah, that was a tough one. I tried everything I could to get my voice back, but it wasn't gonna happen. I still feel like I have something wrong with my voice. I can't scream at like loud octaves anymore.
My throat's never been the same.
No, it's so messed up now.
So now getting into, I wanted to kind of get your guys' perspective on this because I was also there for both the March Madness games. We did the student bus over to Pittsburgh. How is it from your guys' perspective? You guys were on the floor. You guys were, at halftime on the floor.
Yeah.
In front of the entire nation, in front of those from the entire nation. What was that experience like for you guys, for those that went?
Yeah, it was super.
Forgive me. You'll get your
No,
time.
next year we'll go. No
It
was great to see them on TV, though. I enjoyed watching them. Like, where's the dance team? Show them.
Yeah. It was super exciting. It was definitely, like, an experience that, like, I'll never forget. Like, that's a dream that I even got to go. And, like, being on TV was the coolest thing. Like, all my friends were sending me pictures, like, oh, my God, I saw you on TV. Like, it was so cool. And the crowd is insane. It's nothing like the arena has ever been. Like, there's just people everywhere. And everyone's watching, Yeah, you can add on to that.
It was really cool. I mean, from the very start when you walk in, like going in through the back, you feel like you're like the coolest person ever.
It's like all underground.
You're underground, and then you
VIP
go back.
entrance.
Yeah. Then you go back and you warm up, and you're with the opposite sides dance team and cheer team.
Yeah, it's one little room, with
just
a curtain.
as big as this, if not smaller.
Oh my.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got to meet like NC State's dance team and Kentucky's dance and cheer team. Both of them, they were so nice. Like, love them. Like, we're never gonna go back there and start like chirping at them. Like, that's just not what we do. Like, super nice. We got photos with NC State. Like, I'm so happy for those girls that they get to go this far. Like, it's really cool. But going out there's like you don't see the court till the first time you go out there, and it's insane. Like everywhere, like a Kentucky game, like so just like blue everywhere. And I remember looking up, I didn't even know there was an upper bowl, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was all blue, and then there was like Oakland section. There was like
Yeah.
one little.
And you know what? We're the loudest ones. Like the Kentucky fans they get a 3, and then they wouldn't even like clap, and I'm just like
it was like.
And then our student section's like jumping up and down. Like, it was so insane. Cool. Yeah. No, but it was just the coolest experience ever. I've always wanted to go to March Madness. Honestly, I always wanted to go to Indy. I didn't even know, like, we could go to March Madness because, like, in all my years, we've never made it to Indy with the men's team.
Yeah.
And so going to March Madness was just, like, an insane experience. Like, I wouldn't say I wasn't ready for it, but I was just, like, so taken aback by it. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's like you could only do so much to get ready for it.
Exactly.
And it's like,
you just don't know how big it's going to be. Like, it was just the coolest experience ever. It was a good team bonding thing. Like, we got to basically, like, have a sleepover for, like, 3-4 days. Like, it was the coolest thing ever.
The longest trip.
It was a long trip, yeah. We actually had to go buy more clothes because we all underpacked.
Yeah.
Oh.
We underestimated our team, and we thought we were not staying that long.
We definitely didn't underestimate them. We weren't even expecting to stay. If we
didn't think we were
Saturday night, we thought we were going to go home Saturday night. Like, we were staying Saturday night as well. Like, we weren't planning on that. Like, even if we won, you know what I'm trying to say. Like, we did not think they were going to have us spend the night after
for 2 days.
Yeah, I thought you guys were coming home after the game on Saturday.
I didn't realize that there was even, so that was, like, that was a little stressful, but it was really cool. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world. We did have a few moments that was just like, oh my God. Everything was going wrong. I had to climb up 12 flights of stairs and fire alarms. But it was...
Yeah.
You know what? It's those things that, like, make the trip memorable, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for you guys underpacking, listen, only 5% of the country thought we were going to continue past Kentucky, so...
You know, once the game started from, like, within the first minute, I knew we were going to win. I don't know... The way they were playing, I'm like, I know they're not going to stop playing like this. And I, like, could tell that they, like...
You could tell they wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, against Michigan State, like, you feel like they're, like, almost, like, intimidated from the start. Like, they had no holding back from the start. And I was like, oh, my God, we're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end, it got close, and we were still just like, we're staying tonight. Like, we're staying. Like, there's no way.
We have to go to the mall tomorrow.
We literally jinxed it, but we were like... Oh my God, we won! Like, there's still like 3 minutes left in the clock. Like,
malls
we won.
in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was really cool.
Yeah, and for that game, we took over that stadium. We took over PPG Paint Arena. I forget what it's called. But
way louder than anyone.
Even in the NC State game too, I felt it was everywhere.
All the other teams started like cheering for us.
Yeah, that was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like. Like I felt the nation, you know. I'm sure you guys had the same feeling of like, and like especially the NC State one, like the gravity of that was just an incredible atmosphere.
It was.
I don't mean to rub it in.
It's totally okay. I get it.
You're gonna go next
year. Basketball team's only gonna go out from here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No.
So finally, to as our last stop here on the GioMoShow, you guys have a national competition coming up. I want you guys to tell the people about it, explain it a little bit to me as well, but this is the big event this year for you guys on the competition team. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of cool that we have like a freshman and then Alex, who's going to be a junior next year, is like middle of the road, and then me that's been on the team, because we all have different experiences. We never did competition up until last year. Oh, we did like way in the past before I was even on the team, but we really pushed to go to nationals last year. It was our first year, and it was the coolest thing ever. Like, my coach worked so hard to get us to that point, and the athletics was very like helpful in helping us get there. Like, they heard us out. They like believed in us to do it, and it was really cool that we got to go. Definitely a learning experience because we'd never been before. We still placed very good for like it being our first year for sure, but that just like made us want to come back more this year, and that's why I did a 5th year, is because I had the eligibility and I felt like I didn't want to leave it off like that. Like, I felt like there was so much more that we could do. And so this year we started off, we learned our dances a little later this year, I would say. We're still finishing one of our dances, which is a little concern. It's only like 2 seconds left, but we do have our send-off on Saturday. But our practices are Monday and Thursday, 6 to 10. And most dance teams practice every day, but, you know...
Wait, I'm sorry, 6 to 10?
Yeah, p.m.
Yeah. So we'll be going there after this, but it's honestly, like, some of the toughest practices ever, but then, like, especially last year before I knew I was going to get a 5th year, like, looking back, and I was like, man, I wish I had one of those terrible, like, practices where, like, you feel like you're going to cry, like, you want to
you
just go home and scream, like...
Everyone's yelling at each other.
You somehow wish you were still there. And, like, those practices are the hardest, but, like, at the end of the day, like, I feel like we're all, like, sisters. So, like, we get over it by the time practice is out. Like, it's not like we have a bad team environment. We're all, we sometimes get frustrated with each other just because we want this so bad for each other.
Of course.
So, like, those practices are long and tough, but we've been preparing for this for so long, since the summer, basically. And so I'm just so excited for Saturday to show everyone our dances, and everyone can come, not to promote it, but
12 p.m.
12 p.m. Saturday in the arena.
You heard that.
Last year we had Campy come, we had Tungay come. It was really cool.
Are they dancing too?
No, no, but they were right in the front, and I was like, oh my god, I have to have my turns if Campy's sitting right here in Tungay.
Yeah.
Like, it was so cool. So yeah, we get our student athlete friends to come. Like, it's really cool to, like, show everyone, like, what we do besides just game day. Like, we can do so much more, and, like, showing athletics that they made the right choice by allowing us to go to nationals.
Yeah. So and just as a clarification, do you guys have to qualify for that, or is it just a matter of, you know, being allowed to go?
Everyone, like, whoever signs up can go, but once you're there, it's like a placement thing. So, like, does every team place, or is it only the top? I think it's only the top.
Place, but there's only a certain amount that go to finals.
Okay.
Right?
I'm pretty sure everyone goes to finals, but how you place in prelims is
your
order.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, a showdown championship where only, like, the top scoring teams are, like, the ones that you like, go to, which is, like, different from a national championship, but it's, like, that's kind of where, like, the whole not everyone makes it type thing is.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but the specifics aside, you guys are going to sweep the whole thing, so it don't even matter prelims or not. You're all going to be fine.
Yeah.
So once again, this showcase is Saturday at when at the arena?
12
p.m. 12 and free. Anyone can come.
You heard that.
We love supporting our student athletes, and we love when they support us. Mm-hmm. And literally anyone can come. This isn't like a dance recital where our moms and dads.
Yeah, it's not super long either. Yeah. It's probably gonna be like an hour at most.
Yeah, it's like our
we do one,
then, like,
we change.
Yeah,
we do the other. Seniors and
Brenna does a few speeches.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and we need a big crowd because we need to go out there at nationals, and like it's kind of like our test run. Like, we don't want to go out there and be like, oh my god, like just completely like blindside it. So like having a big crowd is nice because it kind of like mentally prepares us to how it's going to be down there.
Yeah. So not only is it an opportunity for you guys to go and support your dance team, but it's an opportunity to improve them, to help them practice, and to sharpen their skills just before they go on to the national stage.
Sure. It's very much appreciated.
Saturday, 12 o'clock sharp.
Arena, be there.
In the one and only arena. The arena getting a makeover as of recently, so that's nice too.
Oh yeah, that was very nice. One day I was just like, has this always been there? I couldn't figure out.
They moved the clock.
Yeah, I know. Every time I actually go to look at the clock, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what time it is.
Yeah.
Well, that is going to close us out here for the Joe Show. Thank you all so much for coming out to the show. We had Melayna, we had Alexandria, and Kayla from the Oakland University dance team. Thank you so much for coming out to the Joe Show and teaching me a thing or two about dance.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
For having us. We appreciate you supporting us and being at all the games. We feed off your energy too. So.
I appreciate that. It's my senior year. I had to get it out of my system.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And you can listen to the Joe Show. You can listen more to me live Mondays at noon on WXOU, live on YouTube as well. Go and support the podcast, like, subscribe, 5-star review, and go out Saturday at noon at the Arena to support your dance team before they send off to the championships. We'll see you next time on the Joe Show interviews. This has been Giovanni Moceri.